दादा सर डिजिटल टीम से कौन से
है ना प्रोड्यूसर, है ना, वी आर लाइव।
मैं रेडी है, मैं रेडी है तो हिट करने के लिए कोई तो चाहिए ना।
वी आर लाइव ना,
Are we?
या
So, but Vijay bhai is moving the camera.
नो
वी आर लाइव। चलो सर, मंडे मॉर्निंग
हाँ बताइए सर।
सब कुछ यहाँ पर नहीं है, वो चाइना में हो रहा है,
Tianjin.
तियानजिन में, इंक्लूडिंग द कार डिप्लोमेसी।
An interesting photograph.
हाँ, but walking into the same car and chatting.
Yeah. No, I have today. Who are we talking to? We were talking to a former ambassador.
हाँ,
Ambassador to one of the countries. Sorry, I'm missing out. He was saying that his view was, and rightly should be, that India thus far has been away from being in an axis and multi-front strategy, and that is very likely to continue. So this is showing the multi-front strategy that that we are here, but I doubt there will be a commitment to saying that, oh, now we are in a particular camp.
yeah.
We don't want to do
We
that.
are always non-aligned, right?
Not aligned, exactly.
Yeah. So that continues here. But you know, it's interesting that you have the SCO summit, which is now happening now in September, and then you in November you have the Quad, where and what I heard was that Trump was supposed to come for the Quad,
But they said
but
that he is not
he's
coming.
not coming.
Yeah.
Which is there. So there is this bromance happening between people, the RIC countries, which is the Russia, India, and China, and then you have the US and the Quad, which is there, which is US, Japan, Australia, and India, and now it's going to be seen how it's going to work out actually.
Yeah. Quad तो नवंबर में है, तब तक
हाँ.
तो क्या पता और कितने ट्रूथ सोशल पे पोस्ट आ जाएंगे. So
Nee, means Trump officials have been going ballistic over the weekend, right? In that sense.
who do they have to blame? There was a so see, there's a very nice article, Sajeet, that I read over the weekend on by Gavekal, when they're saying that there is a reason why US is doing the policy that it is, because, and they are given multiple reasons. So I'm going to present a bit of it tomorrow on TV and here as well later on, right? At 12:30 tomorrow. But be that as it may, even if there are some very sound economic reasons for the measures being taken, the manner in which those measures are being followed, and if this has to be, as some people have reported, I think New York Times reported, if I'm not wrong, that on a phone call between the two leaders, if there was a conversation that nomination should come in because we helped in brokering a peace, etc., and if that was denied and that's why all of this is happening, then
India never supported this nomination, by the way, and he wanted
but because
Modi to
but
support.
because that would be a tacit
thing that there's a third party mediation which has happened
into India-Pakistan, which has not been the case. So you can't claim that, right? Do something. If you have a skirmish with somebody else, you come in and resolve it.
But you know what was interesting to me was even better thing which I heard over the weekend, and there's reports which are there that India is buying crude from Russia, it's processing it and selling diesel to Ukraine, and the war in Ukraine is being financed by the US by giving you arms.
Yeah.
So who is buying the stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping. See, these are very strong relationships between two nations for the last 20-25 years. I hope that a resolution is soon. A resolution has to happen, will happen. We just hope that it happens soon. That's it.
But
I mean, sorry.
What was heartening was the GDP numbers that came on Friday.
Strong number.
Strong number.
Yeah.
It took the street by surprise.
It did.
And better part was the private consumption which was up.
But you read. So I read amongst others. अरे आपकी आवाज इतनी जोर से, आपको माइक की क्या जरूरत है? पहुंच जाएगी दर्शक तक. But the Sonal Verma's note, Radhika Rao, etc., that we spoke to, DBS, Nomura, etc., they all said that one, there is a deflator effect here for the first couple of quarters. So next quarter number also will look solid. Suddenly now people are realizing that अच्छा ये इतना अच्छा था तो second quarter भी शायद अच्छा हो सकता है, because exports were bunched up before August end until the tariffs come in, etc. and stuff like that. So July, August, September will also probably look okay. Can GST cut led consumption buying negate the lack of exports because of tariffs uh, and still help the GDP? That is a $1 billion question.
So what I read was that okay, we have already penciled in around 6.4, 6.5 for FY26. Now people are talking about whether
Upward
to
revision.
upward revision. The risk to upward GDP.
नौबरा ने ना बोला,
हाँ, नूरे ने ना बोला, but बाकियों ने हाँ बोला है.
DBS ने भी बोला नहीं कि है
I think Citi ने बोला है, किसी ने बोला कि there is a risk which is there to upward, which is there.
upward revision of the
Upward-
GDP.
I think if I'm not wrong, Goldman Sachs.
Okay.
They spoke about upward revision. The question is that whether the US exports are going to dampen the entire growth which is coming from the domestic market. What also came out as a surprise was the private consumption, which we spoke about, right? But especially in services and tourism sector, the growth was there, despite the fact that you had a Sindoor which happened, you had an air crash which happened, and which led to travel. We thought travel and tourism is muted, but it was not muted, and there was a significant growth in travel and tourism which happened as part of the Q1 GDP numbers. So that was also heartening to see that अच्छा flight नहीं है, हम train से जा रहे हैं, but people are traveling. That's something which is there. So it's good for companies like Exigo and others who have good ticketing of rail. And I don't know, Exigo numbers were good actually, right? In Q1. So
Exigo,
now
yeah.
it's
Yatra was the biggest
all.
one, yeah.
So the thing is that it's getting reflected in the earnings of or the sales of these two companies which are listed
ones.
In that sense, which is
and it was so heavily discounted. I just realized it when I did the math based on what they have guided in the interview. Yatra, for example, before the rally, and it rallied some 50-60%. Before the rally, Yatra growing at 30, 35, 40% was available at 10 times FY28 earnings. That cheap.
28.
Okay. But I mean, with the presumption, I mean, even the GDP numbers show, right? Hotels, travel, tourism is largely doing well. There are some concerns about what will happen because of the northern floods. मैं ना नहीं बोल रहा अभी यार अभी FY26 तो हम पहुंच गए brokerages sorry mid में पहुंच गए सिंपल है वहां पे तो पहुंच ही गए तो थोड़ा और आगे जाने में क्या
The thing was with Yatra, the IPO price was 142 when it came 2 years ago. Since then, there has been absolutely no return. So even at the one onset of such a high growth, I think
they've had 2 quarters by the way of good growth.
So 1 quarter के बाद so they waited for good. So fair enough.
Yeah. People gave it
some time.
Caveat.
But we have a lot of smaller these ticketing companies like EaseMyTrip also. There's news flow today. Exigo is also listed, but these smaller ones seem to be doing very well. Given that the growth prospect is back.
EaseMyTrip was depressed because of this promoter selling and other stuff which happened, right? And that created and the confusion that they created. A promoter wants to get into a different business which is not aligned to the main business.
Yeah, actually.
And those things create confusion for investors.
And investors and buyers as well, Puneet. I've just personally seen somebody hovering over जो options आते हैं ना 3-4 के कहाँ पे book करना है, choosing one over the other.
Yeah. So the preference for the other one.
Or whichever. I'm not naming names out here, but I'm just saying that people take those
very
thoughts in mind as well. Yeah. But I mean that platform is fabulous. I've booked through EaseMyTrip as well in the past. I've booked through they are all providing some pretty good service. So no surprise that those numbers are looking okay. But GDP was positive. Just one quick word here. Rajiv Batra, we spoke again today, and we asked him that do you still think that 26,500 to 30,000? He said yes target. Rhythm Desai's note today is very constructive, and something about Rhythm when he makes those, and this is not even Rhythm in person. Rhythm in person is very difficult to counter any which ways. But Rhythm on a note as well, the note that he's written, you almost feel that, Rhythm is trying to explain to you in his very smooth voice, that Niraj, समझो, ऐसे होने वाला है. But it can't happen like this. But this. And then you feel like, okay, chalo. Rhythm को हाँ बोल दो. He's just too good with these things.
But what is even more encouraging is July numbers of crude sourcing. Russia was again the highest we sourced the highest amount of crude,
Crude
from
from Russia.
them, roughly around 31.
But अगस्त में कम हो गया है ना?
अगस्त में बोल रहे हैं, अभी तक अगस्त में आए नहीं ना
आया
नंबर,
नहीं,
तो वो दो, इट कम्स द लैग ऑफ nearly 2 months which is there. जुलाई के नंबर्स अभी आए हैं, इस वीकेंड में आए हैं जुलाई के नंबर्स.
No, but I think the telltale signs were that August numbers were. Somebody was saying, right, that August.
अगस्त में कम होने वाले हैं, सुनने में आया था, पर अभी नहीं. पर गोइंग बाय व्हाट जुलाई इज, बिकॉज़ जुलाई में तो शुरू हुआ था ना वो अपना entire thing about crude and other stuff, or the 25%, and then
So we'll talk on this forum when the August numbers come
yes,
out.
but that will happen in September end. No, September, हाँ
आप
September
छुट्टी पे हो?
नहीं, मैं तो हूँ,
मैं भी छुट्टी पे
मैं भी
नहीं
इधर हूँ.
हूँ. मैं भी छुट्टी पे नहीं हूँ.
The other day when it rained a lot, you know, and a lot of us left, so I asked Sajeet, I'm like, अभी आप हो गया, अभी 3 बज गया, अभी मैं तो बैठना पड़ा क्योंकि लिंक है. He's like, नहीं बैठना था, एक चॉइस ही नहीं है ऐसा. So he was there till 3:30, all over here till 3:30 that
हाँ,
day.
ये लोग मार्केट खत्म होने से पहले निकल जाते हैं यार, ये कैसे
Sir,
नहीं
ऐसी
जाते?
बात तो नहीं है वैसे. मैं मार्केट टॉस करता हूँ, so I have to wait a lot. तो
वो अभी ना क्योंकि हर छुट्टी पे है.
अभी हर छुट्टी हुई है.
But भाई, he's packing his bags and traveling to places to do interviews every weekend now.
Ether, Ola,
Yeah.
बताओ क्या हो रहा है आज? ओला क्यों ऊपर है?
Ola, तो I think it's because it's maintained share above Ether. I think that's my logic.
18 और 17%.
But still maintain. Like when we spoke last, I don't think we either of us
IPO के समय
expected.
कितना था
Honestly,
कितना शेयर था आईपीओ के समय?
क्या share price Ola
नहीं,
का?
शेयर, मार्केट शेयर.
Market share was over like 25% at that time.
और अभी कितना है?
17, 18. But I think overall,
इथर का कितना था आईपीओ के समय?
14. Like
अभी कितना है?
17. But that's monthly, ना? Monthly we are saying. Overall देखो तो Ether is.
अरे आप काउंटर करो ना कि जब ओला का शेयर इतना था तो अभी भाव कितना था?
Exactly, yeah.
हाँ, 150 पहुंच गया था, अभी 55 है.
See, my basic thing is कि nobody expected.
आप डरो मत इनसे.
Nobody expected, I think, Ola to defend its market share this month, given what's happening.
But Ola defended the market share. Why? Because Bajaj का half हुआ ना.
No, I feel between them, even, yeah, maybe you can say that, but I feel like Ola is very strong in like certain regions like Rajasthan. Like that's what I was like speaking to Ether also. That what have you done that you've cornered 20% market share in Gujarat? And his logic is that we've given them a family scooter and we're expanding heavily in that segment. We were first there. So my second question to him was, okay, but why couldn't you do that in Rajasthan? He was like, see, in that market, one of our competitors was able to kind of start and have those locations at the right time, which help those sales. So I feel like with what Ather is doing now, expanding in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, in the central part of India, it seems to be their strategy that they're going from 440 stores to 700 by the end of the year. And this is all dealer operated, so they don't have to put in cash.
This is what an ecosystem this is turning out to be.
Yeah.
Because there are the incumbents who have this. There's Ola, Ather. Speedo's bike should come out sometime, right? And therefore they will come out. And I think from what I remember, they are price competitive. So that will happen.
But all of them have a different kind of model which is there. You have to understand the business model as well, right? While Ola is more capex heavy.
Because they own everything.
Because everything. They want to own everything from the supply chain to the front and back.
The dealers as well,
backward integration जो भी है उनका. Ether is more of an asset light kind of model which is there.
They have like 2 stores they own out of 446. The rest all is dealer operated.
Factory wise also, you're telling me कि भाई अभी उनको factory आया नहीं, अभी वो lease factory में काम कर रहे हैं बैठे.
Speedo का तो पूरा outsourced है. I think इसको है ना PG Electroplast को outsource किया है.
Yeah. So the interesting part and I asked this to Tarun Mehta, also the co-founder of Ether, you are the first company who's actually not set up a manufacturing facility in 12 years of existence. And
अभी आएगा संभाजी
में first two-wheeler manufacturing company.
Yeah, essentially a two-wheeler manufacturing.
Because there are others.
Everybody everybody largely has set up the manufacturing, right? First and then built a brand.
No, so an air cooler company called Symphony, market leader, doesn't have its own manufacturing.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah. So first, like automobile company, then that has essentially done that. And his. So my question to him was, don't you think that this will now get replicated across? And while he acknowledged that, we wanted to focus on brand building first. This just seems that people could actually just lease factories and then focus on the brand building first exercise. That was something which I picked up from them.
But between 2 weekends, which is Independence Day weekend and this one, you went to Ola and Ether. And
so Ola was my man, but I just largely saw what they did.
What they did. The channel as a platform we went. What was your takeaway from both of them? Which is better product in that sense, or
So-
which is a much better prospect going forward?
So what Ather is doing right now is making their platform, right? Which they will, the EL platform. They launched 3 products on this. One's
Not to
that
mention,
new,
you did TVS also.
yeah, the
EV,
TVS
EV,
Orbiter, yeah.
Orbiter, EV, right?
Yeah, and Orbiter. So because like TVS is very tight-lipped on strategy, so they didn't give away too much.
क्या तुम drill नहीं किए होंगे ठीक
Yeah,
से?
sir, मैं सीख रहा हूँ आपसे ना अभी मैं क्या करूँगा but for Ather I think that because they had that platform and that over the next 3 to 4 years they launch products on that platform, I think, with, and this is only their second platform in the last 10 years, so this will, I think the cost savings will be huge, because for someone like Bajaj is saving 41% on new platform, just going from 1 to 2, and that, I think, if it happens for Ather, they'll be very quick. So they've gone from minus 36% EBITDA margins to minus 16. So if this platform comes in and they adopt it well in FY27, because they'll take a year to come back with this, I think it could be big for them. And they don't want to go into like cells like Ola. For Ola specifically, I think that cost savings will come from having that control of supply chain, as you mentioned, battery cells, amongst other things. But they have to still crack, I think, on that side where because of the service issue and everything now largely seems to be solved. They still have to, I think, convince the buyers. What I feel, like a person who is in dilemma probably might go for some other player. But if a person is sure that okay, I have to buy Ola, he'll go and buy Ola directly. For Ather, they might be able to convince you if you are in a dilemma. That's what I feel, because they're following the Tesla model. They put up a charger first in a city they go into. That's what Tarun also said. And that, like, I was just checking. Tesla has roughly 23,000 superchargers in US alone. So I'm like, they've built, there's no issue of that charging for this thing. There is a charger for sure of this client. So I think that was my read from them, that the cost saving of both these companies are very different, even though they operate in the same industry.
But the biggest event which is going to happen is next 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Which is a GST event.
Yeah.
And वहाँ पर क्या होगा कि आपके टू व्हीलर्स के जो रेट हैं वो गिरेंगे,
Yeah.
और जो डिफरेंशियल है बिटवीन ईवी एंड आइस स्कूटर्स वो बढ़ेंगे. How do you think these companies will manage the challenge?
I think the car part
price
Yeah.
कार तो ठीक है, मैं प्राइस की बात कर रहा हूँ for
Yeah,
two
yeah.
wheelers especially.
Yeah, so I think the impact on cars will be much higher compared to two-wheelers. For two-wheelers, because they're already there, like you will get, like TVS has launched the Orbiter scooter for 99,000 for at least initial. They might increase it later on. But because these guys like TVS and Bajaj have the other products also, they can take some kind of hit, if any, if the differential gets too big. But I feel that two-wheelers mein wo nahi hai. I think problem will come in cars. Because there's already a differential. If you buy a EV,
people please give likes. Huh?
Yes.
But if you buy the EV,
a EV right now, they're still a little expensive compared to ICE, and now that might get a little bit more stretched. So I think how these car companies decide to adopt that, that'll be something to watch, because even though EVs are at 5% GST, the ICE cars are still cheaper, but at least a lakh and a half. So that will get increased. I think so. That segment, how that hampers is going to be something to watch.
Ajit Emmanuel has a question for you. How will this impact auto ancillary companies?
Like the GST cut, I
GST
think
cut,
it's going to be positive either way, because a lot of them are powertrain agnostic. Like engine का उनको कुछ है ही नहीं. Like a lot of parts are both compliant in EVs as well as ICE. So,
exactly.
So, and उनके लिए तो better ही है, if because the auto demand has been so depressed over the last 18 months, their growth rate hasn't been hampered. So if even there's a remote chance that this comes back, I think they'll flourish much more than what they already have.
एक क्वेश्चन आपके लिए is from Ayushman Lalani. Will US Supreme Court block Trump's tariff?
क्या पता है ये तो
चलो
मतलब ट्रम्प को भी नहीं पता है, कोर्ट को भी नहीं पता है.
ट्रम्प तो बहुत बुकलाए हुए थे इस ऑर्डर के बाद फ्राइडे को.
Difficult to call it.
Because
You have a thought here?
No, I don't know. I think he has challenged it in one of the courts, either in the federal Supreme Court or the International Court of Trade or something, where he has time till October to challenge it. But as of now, the tariffs are standing. I mean, they haven't put a stay on the tariff to speak.
So बोला इंटरनेशनल एम्बैरेसमेंट हो जाएगी, ये हो जाएगी, वो हो जाएगी, काफी था. The other thing is the strength in IT today.
Yes. The Friday number of inflation which came in from the US, it basically reinforced that there is a cut happening in September, and I'm getting a coffee from him. Simple as that.
So आपने बोला था कि सितंबर में फेड का रेट कट होगा, आपने बोला था नहीं होगा.
नहीं होगा.
बट आपका क्या ये था, क्योंकि साइंस do point that
bet तो 20 दिन पहले लगी थी.
नहीं,
हमने
sorry,
एक महीने पहले लगाई थी.
sorry.
एक महीने पहले
थोड़ा
हमने
देर
लगाई
से-
थी.
But what एक लाइन में अगर आप बता सको
क्या?
कि
कि
आपको
आपको क्यों लगता था कि नहीं होगा?
So I don't. The inflationary pressures in the US that are likely to come are real.
Yes.
And the Fed, until Jerome Powell gave his verdict कि नहीं ये है,
हाँ.
the Fed was consistently being an inflation targeting
Correct.
bank. I didn't think that they will move from there.
Yeah.
So let's see.
But the job
For,
data has also
for me,
weakened a
the
little
turning
bit, right?
point was the
My guess was they'll
decal-
stay inflation targeting.
Decalculation.
Oh, अच्छा वैसे. Okay.
My guess was also that if they do this cut,
Yeah.
then they seem to be pliant to Donald
Succumbing
Trump.
to Trump.
Succumbing. And
Yeah,
they
which
would
doesn't-
also don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but-
I still stand
but-
by it,
yeah,
by the way.
But,
Yeah.
But yeah.
But one of my friends.
my turning point was the change in BLS numbers, labor statistics numbers, which happened. उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि नहीं ये तो होने वाला है क्योंकि
हाँ.
because from average of 150,000 it has come down to 15-20,000,
Yeah.
which is a far worse number to go by, right? In that sense,
I think everybody
And
was saying that this is because of the what's happened on change of immigration also, right? That you are.
it is also part of that. But
Yeah.
you know, the Fed goes with labor and inflation. We go by growth and
And
inflation.
inflation.
And at that time, after the number, it seems like the labor is getting weak. So it
Yeah.
had to pivot from inflation to labor.
Correct.
That was my
My-
assessment
yeah.
of why it will do it. And his assessment was नहीं, inflation targeting ही रहेगा.
But one of my friends
Which
actually.
is still a concern because it's still about 2%. And there is a likelihood that the impact of tariff will come in, which I agree with him on that part of it. But labor is which is a much bigger important thing.
But one of my friends went to US last year and they are right now in Detroit. And they said that what costed $7-8 the last time I was here in January last year is
Yeah,
now
very expensive.
Is now $12 to $13.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
that's
think when
true.
you also went in May, I think so with that logically, it shouldn't happen with inflation as this.
It was the inflation out there is crazy, literally speaking,
Yeah.
crazy. It's really gone through the roof. It's very expensive to visit US right now.
Yeah.
By the way, कहीं पे मैंने पढ़ा कि the total travels of Indians to US saw the first degrowth since 2001, which was last month.
Yeah.
June में I think.
Yeah.
June में या जुलाई में कुछ हुआ. The total number of Indians traveling to the US has gone down
Not
for the
only
first time since
that,
2001.
Now the visas for US colleges is also going to come down because you're not going to get a extended visa to work after your college there. You have to come back to India, and only if you
ये
have
कब हुआ?
last week हुआ.
हाँ.
हाँ.
Oh, that's a big bummer.
Big
Yeah.
bummer.
A lot of people will not go to
Yeah,
US.
मैं अगर मुझे इंडिया में आकर आना है वापस वहाँ पर करके तो
No, so then you can look at other geographies, no?
yeah,
Yeah.
you will do you look at UK, you look at Australia, you look at Canada,
You look at
These are-
India.
India में and a lot of your US institutions are also coming into India in setting up shops in India.
I think the India angle is much more this thing because all these other countries like UK, Canada are all seeing some other challenges amongst other issues, basically, which is deterring a lot of things. So a lot of my friends are looking at a global institute in South India which costs a bomb as a prospective option there. So because the
ISB.
yeah, yeah, essentially ISB. So yeah,
You're saying ISB costs a bomb. That's
It
true.
does.
it does. Yeah, it's
Achha,
like-
there's a super chat question from Kalyan.
Yes.
As you guys were discussing about AI and its impact, my son, who is a 9-year-old, just asked me, can we invent an AI which can print money for us?
I hope that doesn't happen, Kalyan, but it's an interesting question. I mean, sometimes kids can really think well. So yeah, can
Yeah,
AI print money?
Money.
AI bank.
AI bank. Maybe we can use AI to look at this money supply part of it, but not printing money. That kind of stuff.
But Kalyan, I mean,
share his
if your kids harnesses his thoughts in the right direction, that's quite something. Yeah. I hope this doesn't happen though.
Appreciation coming from Roshan. Finally got to join live after so many days.
Thank you,
been
Roshan.
Watching recordings all these days.
Thank you, Roshan.
Yes,
Thank you so
phone
much.
में हम live जाते हैं, please.
नहीं, रोशन शायद बॉम्बे में ना रहते हो, इंडिया में ना रहते हो.
Then there is
पहले क्वेश्चन था just on a lighter
हाँ.
note that नीरज सर अब इस बार नवरात्रि पे किधर जा रहे हो? Did you ask that?
Yes.
दांडिया करने जा रहे हो?
Yes.
कहाँ?
I'm going to Mahima Vachirajani's hometown.
Mm.
I'm going to
सूरत?
Baroda.
Baroda.
Yeah.
दांडिया.
So there is a place called United, which
हाँ, you
जहाँ
will
पे 60,000 people play at the same time.
I've seen those videos or the drone
Yeah.
videos, right? Those ones.
So I love Bombay Navratri, by the way. I go in Bombay multiple places over the years, but this time around I'm also trying. In fact, I am going. I booked my passes. I'm going to United. So that's one addition to the calendar.
Okay, so we have a couple of more questions which are coming in, which is are there any specific sectors that start to look good when the BRIC countries come together?
Yes, there are, right? Sorry, either of you might have. Samit
Somit's
had
mail,
put
yeah.
out a email. Might as well instead of trying. But broadly, while Puneet digs that out, right? I mean, if you think of it, if the rare earth issue goes down even further,
सौमित के लिए भी अगर वो आया हुआ है एक मतलब सौमित को बुला
then a
सकते
lot
हैं
of people, sorry, just to round off this point, then a lot of companies which use rare earth, or which the dearth of rare earth was impacting their business, will actually become better. So that is actually one thing. बाद में
Yeah.
बताइए.
I think a lot of sectors like manufacturing, EV, tourism, amongst others, but Somit had put out this list of companies also, which largely could get benefited.
सौमित आ रहा है. So
Yes.
because there's a demand for to get Somit as well. आइए
This is
ये क्या हो रहा है?
आप
You are outshining us. हम लोग आ रहे हैं, हमारा कोई पूछता नहीं है, सारे पूछते हैं सौमित क्या है, सौमित क्या है, सौमित क्या है.
ये बताइए कि
दो सवाल है आपके
दो
लिए.
सवाल है. पहला सवाल ये है कि ब्रिक्स की वजह से कौन से सेक्टर्स
नहीं, हाँ, ये इंडिया चाइना इकोनॉमी की वजह से.
Actually, बहुत से companies हैं. There's Keynes, there's Tata Motors.
And
I
why
just
so,
said-
Samit?
Because they have some of the other tie-ups, and for Keynes, they getting a lot of machinery from China, so they also stand to benefit. There are multiple other companies.
Here. We have your email for you.
Thank you. So then there's Dixon Tech, there's Sona BLW. Both these companies have some of the other JVs with Chinese companies. JSW Group, they have these tie-up with MG Motor. There are multiple chemical companies, Aarti Industries, Gujarat Alkalis, Deepak Nitrite. All of them have some of the. And then there is Indigo, which is also up in trade today.
डायरेक्ट फ्लाइट की वजह से.
Yes, the direct flight assumption that also opens up a big.
और शायद सेलिंग भी थोड़ा ebb
Right,
हुआ होगा.
exactly. Right.
Okay.
And then there are multiple other sectors like marine, there's renewable energy, manufacturing companies, as I mentioned, multiple capital good companies also stand to benefit, Siemens for that matter. They also import some of the other machineries. Then there is consumer durables. Compressor would be a big relief if at all there's something that comes in from this type.
Oh, because compressors are imported, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
और फिलहाल डर्ट था.
Yeah.
कि because मैंने आपका एक इंटरव्यू देखा with a company
Right.
जहाँ पे उसने बोला था
Virtual swap to-
हाँ, वहाँ पे वो बोल रहा था कि भाई कंप्रेसर तो हम नहीं बनाते क्योंकि 3-4 जन ऑलरेडी बना रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ था ना.
but still we have short on compressors.
We are
We
short on
importing.
compressors.
I remember Q1 से पहले one of the companies said अगर माल बिकेगा तो compressor import करेंगे
Exactly.
ना.
अगर 60-70% growth की expectations थी तभी people were like कि compressor ही नहीं AC कहाँ से बिका नहीं बात अलग है.
अच्छा, आप माइक में बोलिए.
हाँ.
और दूसरा क्या था, आप बोले थे आपने देखा कुछ समित के लिए किसी ने
नहीं,
पूछा था.
get Somit.
अच्छा, गेट समित. हाँ,
वो I guess hard on street के लिए था, but उसके लिए 230 के लिए.
230 भाई अभी नहीं भाई, वो तो शो पे करना पड़ेगा, वो तो शो पे करना पड़ेगा. So
पर
one quick
230
thing to both of you very quickly, because we were not able to discuss Reliance on Friday, right?
Yes.
But now that Reliance news is out and the stock was under pressure this morning at
Yes,
least, right? So what's the move ahead on Reliance,
See,
both of you?
I think I mentioned that on Friday as well, right? That if they go for an IPO, then there is a holding company, this one which is going.
But they have no choice, right? They have to give
No,
exit
they
to the
have-
investors.
they
No,
have
but
all
they
the
have to
choice.
give exit to the investors, no?
Investors
तो
would have gone
डीमर्जर
ahead
के
and
थ्रू भी
said-
मिलता
कितना
है.
सेलिंग आ जाता है यार
क्यों
स्टॉक
selling
में.
करते हैं?
आपकी वजह से
वो वैसे आपको लगता अभी नहीं आएगा आईपीओ के बाद?
अरे आईपीओ में तो बाबा दे कैन डू दिस, नो, कि द आईपीओ इज एन ओएफएस.
भाई 2% आईपीओ में कौन सा ओएफएस आपको कौन सा होगा?
क्यों 4% कर दो आईपीओ और ओएफएस कर दो.
भाई 4% का
33% है ना
मतलब
investors के पास.
इन्वेस्टर्स
तो अभी नहीं तो बाद में तो selling
आएगा
तो
तो
आना ही है.
नहीं, but the exit might have been that they might, okay, this is all hypothesis, okay, but I'm asking you that the conditions may have well been that out of the people who've been brought in via the Geo IPO, they have to give exit to, let's say, 5% of the shareholding. So 5% of the shareholding अगर demerge
5% शेयर होल्डिंग मतलब
खत्म तो करने दो. 5% of the holding
हाँ.
अगर डीमर्जर के बाद अगर प्रेशर आ जाता है, देयर इज अ परमानेंट कैप फॉर 1 ईयर ऑन द प्राइस. तो 5% एक साथ तो बिक नहीं सकता है. उसकी जगह पे अगर आईपीओ कर रहे हो, इट इज अ थीसिस, अगर आईपीओ कर रहे हो और वो बोले कि हम पूरा ओएफएस कर रहे हैं और ये आईपीओ है 4% का या 5% का, तो आईपीओ में सब्सक्रिप्शन में जाता है ना, प्राइसिंग इज इन देयर कंट्रोल, देन पीपल नो कि ये प्राइस पे इससे ज्यादा सेलिंग नहीं होने वाला है. कुड दैट बी द
Reliance के
रीजन?
shareholder को क्या मिल रहा है?
हाँ ये बताओ.
दैट इज सेकेंडरी.
इसलिए
नहीं,
Reliance
that
के
is the
share
primary.
कितने हैं?
That is primary.
Why Reliance share price is under pressure is because of this one.
Agree
Not only
completely.
that,
That I agree.
not
But
only that.
maybe they didn't have a choice.
No, no.
IPO or
Yeah,
demerger would have been
choice
better,
was
but
always
at
there.
this
Yet
moment,
this guy debates no all the
हाँ,
time.
हाँ, पर मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ, अभी भी बोल रहा हूँ, अब अगर बोलते 5% आईपीओ में आता है तो 5% का मतलब कितना हुआ, $5.6 billion का आईपीओ होगा वो, रफली अराउंड 40 to 50,000 crores का आईपीओ, उतना नहीं है हमारे।
अच्छा फंड रेज है,
हाँ, मतलब
वैल्यूएशन तो 11 बिलियन का है,
हाँ, 112 बिलियन डॉलर्स का तो वैल्यूएशन,
11.6 लाख करोड़,
हाँ हाँ
हाँ
112 बिलियन डॉलर्स का वैल्यूएशन है उसका तो 40 to 50,000 करोड़ का बुक आईपीओ नहीं आ सकता है इसमें।
चल 3% का तो आ सकता है।
3% आ सकता है, पर बाकी जो स्टेक है, आपने जैसे बोला
तो रहेगा।
कि 1 साल के लिए बंद है ना,
नहीं
1 साल के लिए तो आपका वो हो गया ना,
अगर
मतलब
3% भी आईपीओ में जाता है तो 3% सेलिंग कम होगा ना आफ्टर लिस्टिंग सजीत, मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ।
यार मैं आपको ये
Their advisors might not have consulted you and that's why they did this.
that's
But my point being,
that's why you
अरे
see
भाई maybe their advisors would have told them that this is a better route ना,
good,
because they would have thought this through.
No,
everything.
no,
The route might be good for investors who are already invested,
But
in
not
the
good for
group.
Reliance
Reliance
investors.
shareholders, because over a period of time 33% dilution तो हो गया ना उसके अंदर, whatever you say।
ये अपने पास ये आइडिया नहीं है कि कितने लोगों को एग्जिट देना है, ये तो पता ही है ऑब्वियसली।
But most likely P investors ही होंगे।
P
हाँ,
investors
साथ
होंगे
में।
ना, और
I don't
अगर
think
and
Facebook
अगर
and Google
and
हाँ, वो कौन सा था, सिल्वर लेक?
Silver Lake is one of
one of
Silver
them, there are multiple actually,
But the first one was Silver Lake, right? If I'm not wrong.
हाँ, और उसके अलावा भी अगर आप देखोगे तो you need to look at from a point of view of that these entire investor base after 5-6 years they all have to do it, so even if the IPO comes in and you have to wait for one year for that, you have to,
20 seconds.
yes,
Now 20 seconds में खत्म करो, then we have to take 4 rapid fire questions के बाद में पूजा चालू
हाँ
होगी।
पूजा चालू होने वाला है। चलिए जल्दी क्वेश्चन पूछ
Sumit, thank you.
Thank you
So much.
चलिए कार्तिक, always love the insightful discussion here, Sajeet sir, okay, thank you, please make Puneet a permanent participant here, I have found his views very insightful, yes we are trying to,
So हर्ष आएगा तभी, पुनीत, हर्ष and one of us.
हाँ one of us,
नहीं नहीं ऐसे मत करो, फिर तो व्यूअरशिप का डिप हो जाएगा। हम
क्यों?
रोटेशनरी में आते रहेंगे,
अरे
क्यों
क्यों?
4 भी आ जाएंगे, ऐसे क्या है, रिपीट करेंगे। बट थैंक्स सो
अच्छा,
मच फॉर द
दूसरा और-
अप्रिशिएशन।
thoughts on Pete Navarro's verbal diarrhea,
सर यार
हमने बात कर ली,
बढ़िया है।
ट्रिगर पॉइंट है ये हर रोज आ जाता है क्वेश्चन हमको।
ज्यादा कमा रहे हैं actually, that's what he's trying to say.
I mean, this is
But have you seen the new meme between Putin, Modi and Xi?
Yes.
हिंदी में जिसका रूपांतर है
नहीं।
वो देखना चाहिए आप।
अच्छा, okay. Yes, silly comments.
Know your markets, CG Power Semiconductor News. Yes, they have started a new one. I think they'll take at least I think pilot शुरू किया है ना,
Pilot शुरू किया है? I
6
think
months
that-
लगेगा उनको full fledged जाने में उनको।
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of talk around order wins for CG Power as
Yes.
well on that side.
Love,
So let's
and they already have orders. I think that's
Yeah.
what they've been telling us. We own JFS and RIL. वो हमने बात कर ली। Himalaya, Shreya. Hello, sir. Hope you're doing well. Okay.
Very well.
Which stock should benefit the most from GST cuts? If you can share, all brokerages are highlighting auto stocks. Which one will run the most?
आई थिंक वो एक राउंड तो रन अप हो ही
हो गया है।
सो ऑटो, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड सीमेंट work very well. If within autos, you've seen entry level two-wheelers will do well. So you saw that run on Hero, and I think Maruti will get benefited, Hyundai will get benefited, Tata will get
Small car
benefited, the
companies.
small car segment will get benefited, and overall, I think auto ancillaries will get benefited. Baki to
Yeah.
it's universal. EMS companies get benefited because of the electronics push for all these guys.
And the Jeffries note on cement today, by the way, had
Yeah.
the names of Ambuja, Ultratech, and there's one more, maybe Shri Cement. 3 names that they gave out, which are the primary beneficiaries of everything around cement, GST and more. They also said that the pricing is very, very strong right now for cement. देखो मैं खाली since I'll
8 to 10% increase.
Ambuja, Ultratech, JK Cement. They said prices are tracking 6% higher YTD versus their estimates of 4%.
I think for JK is very interesting because it's largely in that middle central India segment where
Yeah.
pricing is actually not that good, which is so that is something which I was tracking after quarter 1 results. Ki uska 51% capacity is there. More is coming, of course. He's going from like mid 20s to 50 million tons, but that was interesting. Ki uska abhi tak wo impact us pe hua nahi, even though the region is not very booming in terms of pricing.
Yeah, but maybe capacity addition
Yeah.
helps volumes.
Shikhar Reddy, due to trade
Last
tariffs
question.
on textile industry, can we absorb the production locally as festive season
No.
is nearby? No,
No.
we cannot actually. It's a very fragmented industry.
One
anyways.
fragmented, two also those were very high ticket items. वो इंडिया में उसका consumption इतना नहीं है. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Aishwan Ilani is asking, will Modi cozying up with Russia to reduce its own tariff, and will Rick put pressure on Trump?
my guess is that if these pictures do not set the cat amongst the pigeons in the Oval Office in the US, then I don't know what can. And I hope they take some serious efforts, as should every country, to try and reduce this. I'm not, like we said at the start of the show, right? We are not saying that India is going to try and become a part of an axis.
While far away, I think the BRICS summit is also in India next year.
Yes.
So that's
We're going to have the
thing.
presidency.
Yes.
of,
Yes.
BRICS.
Yes.
And the Chinese president has been invited. To India.
And Russia will definitely come, as with Brazil.
Niraj sir, a suggestion: can we have a show on visit to CG Semiconductor newly inaugurated factory? I think
Thank
Rishabh
you.
did go to the factory and he did a show from there or a segment from there. So I think we should put that video up so that you can do it.
Last question, Sajeet.
Okay.
Up
Is it
to
likely that the quarterly GDP will be revised downward to much lower levels, maybe less than 7%?
Why? Why so? But
Do you know?
skepticism around growth. Yeah.
People are talking about it, but saying that the growth is because of a deflator and all those things.
But that doesn't mean that it will be revised down, no?
But overall, do you think overall FY26 numbers will go up? Because
No.
some of them are talking about it, but
This is so good. That chance, but yeah, quarter H2 looks very weak, Sajeet. Right now, H2 looks very, very weak. Consumption can only pivot the GDP growth to an extent. So I think there is an issue.
I think it was एक था कि किसी ने follow up किया था कि already took my question. Good auto ancillary stocks have already moved up. Is the anticipated growth story already priced in? But it doesn't seem to be, because we still have to go from a long time. Like look at Maruti only capacity. They are moving to 40 million by 2030 approximately. They are at roughly 25 right now. And others are also putting a capacity. Hyundai is putting a capacity now. And I think all these are now going into areas where they weren't present before. So that should also help in that aspect.
I think we are coming to an end of the show.
And yes,
And there's an Aarti which is waiting.
Aarti which is waiting for us to go. Touch wood.
Thank you.
So हम यहाँ को जा
Thank
रहे
you
हैं.
very
But
much.
thank you so much for tuning in, and see you tomorrow same time.